What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD. Want you to here back again with, of course, another Friday Nightmare installment of Save Slot, the weekly news series where we go over first party and third party news revolving around PlayStation. Now, first off, before we get into any of the stories, hope you all had a nice and safe July 4th. I certainly did. Not feeling the best, this morning after, but we are going to still do Save Slot and get it popping with these news topics. Let's get right into it. And now, first up here, while we have a lot of Comic Cons, throughout the country, there's New York Comic Con, I believe, a bunch of other ones. The San Diego Comic Con, which is arguably the biggest one and kind of like the main Comic Con that a lot of people look at in terms of news and stuff like that coming out of that event, is happening soon this month, and Marvel Avengers and Iron Man VR and all the Marvel games will be at the show, and it will be hosted. Well, not sure if like the Marvel Games panel is being hosted, but I'm pretty sure it's that one. They'll be hosted by Kinda Funny's Greg Miller, the boy you already know I love Kinda Funny, so really cool to see that he is hosting that panel, and they will be showing some different things here. They'll be having many unannounced special surprises and panel exclusives, as well as interviews, gameplay, and interviews with QA directors and stuff like that and everything. And so my main thing is that, while on the show floor, they have Iron Man VR and Marvel Avengers that will be playable at the show. I'm hoping that we'll be able to see some gameplay from those, behind closed doors segments from E3. I know there was a big chunk of it that was leaked a few weeks ago after E3 from the behind the closed doors Avengers E3 stuff. So I'm really hoping to see that whole gameplay in nice 1080p quality, 4K. Give me whatever. I just want to see that in actual gameplay as opposed to a really crappy camera. From the actual presentation. So hopefully we will see some more of that, and I'll let you know when we do. And I will be definitely looking into this and seeing hopefully if we see some gameplay on some games. And by games, I mean Marvel Avengers. Next up here we have of course the Studio Remedy. They are behind the upcoming game Control, as well as in the past they have done Alan Wake and stuff like that. However, they have now recently bought in the rights from Microsoft back to themselves for Alan Wake. So now they have official 100% control of the IP of Alan Wake, and so they now have that again. That's really cool, and now they are free to what is the main topic at hand here, putting it on different platforms, aka the PS4 could potentially get Alan Wake. And they actually had an update on that little tidbit that they issued a few days after. They said, quote, Remedy Entertainment has told Eurogamer.net that it could, this is the actual quote, could bring Alan Wake to different platforms if we so choose, suggesting a PlayStation 4 port could very well happen in the future. So that is definitely the vibe we're going on here. It definitely could be a thing. However, they did say that they have nothing to announce right now because they are, of course, fully focused on the Control, which is coming up, I believe, in August or late July. It's coming up pretty soon here. I believe it's August. But they of course, have that for the PS4 coming out as well. So it looks like we could potentially be getting Alan Wake in the future. So we'll have to wait and see here if it might come to fruition. I say, why not? Why not expose this IP that you just bought the rights to? It could lay the groundwork for other iterations of the actual IP, some like sequels, obviously. So it would be probably a smart move to give it to a brand new crowd that has likely never played Alan Wake if they don't own an Xbox console. Apex Legends is arguably, and probably, honestly not even arguably, it is my favorite battle royale. I love Fortnite, but Apex is just, it's just more of my thing, what I'm saying? And so they rolled out Season 2 this week. There's a new Battle Pass, which a lot of people are very hyped about. It's, apparently a lot more improved than the first season's Battle Pass. I don't pay attention to the Battle Pass stuff. I just kind of just play the game. It just is what it is. But there's a new LMG that is, of course, the seminal one that I'm forgetting the name of right now. Oh my gosh, the L-Star? Is it the L-Star? I think it might be the L-Star, I believe. I hope it's the L-Star, guys. If it's not, let me know in the comments below. But that one I played a ton of in different Titanfall games. And of course, that one is now coming to Apex Legends, which is a really, really good one. And also, they have these new thing called like sky emotes, where when you're skydiving, you can unlock these different emotes that you can do in the sky. So you can do like a running man thing, or in a circle, just crazy stuff that you can do. They have music packs, they have loading screen decals like in Fortnite, a ton of different stuff, new daily and weekly challenges, which I think is a very good addition to bolster the overall just overall bolster the replayability of the game and stuff like that, and just have something else to do rather than just go for wins and stuff like that. So overall, looking pretty good. A lot of people are enjoying the map changes as well. There's a ton of map changes in Kings Canyon, and so overall it's looking to be a really nice season 2 update. And so I would definitely be jumping in here pretty soon, and I would definitely give you all some more, just opinions and stuff like that, and then wherever you want on Twitter. So make sure to go check out all that down below on the PlayStation Source Twitter or my personal Twitter as well. So I'll definitely be letting you know how I feel about Apex Legends Season 2, but gauging from everyone's reception, looking to be a pretty good one. Next up here, we have some more GTA 6 news, and I don't know why this is in the news, because I feel like we heard about this, before. Like, I feel like we already know about this, and so apparently this is coming from an insider that has info from someone that used to write at Kotaku. However, that could be not that, credible, because it's not like, they have all this info as game writers. Like, I'm sure they hear stuff, but I'm sure they don't know it for certain, and so that could be the issue. But overall, they're saying that Grand Theft Auto 6 will have you as a player spanning across 3 different cities, from Vice City to South America to Cuba, and you're building essentially a drug empire that takes over a long time. Like, they are saying decades worth of time that you'll be able to experience in the story of this game, and it's you're just basically building a drug empire. So it very much sounds like a GTA game, and I feel like, where is the news here? Because we heard this before. Like, I feel like I've done known this, but if you didn't know, now you know. GTA 6 rumors are pumping out. Let's see if they're real or not. Guess we'll have to see in the future. Looking on to PS5, we have new news that Polyphony, of course, they are behind the seminal racing game on PlayStation hardware, the Gran Turismo series, and they were giving a little discussion about the next GT came for PS5, and they say that it's already in development, essentially. And they say an interesting quote here. And so they say, "I think the next title that we're going to create will be a combination of past, present, and future, a complete form of Gran Turismo." And so that definitely seems like a good idea, obviously, for a racing game to be on new hardware and stuff like that, have a somewhat new start, but a nice kind of overall arcing game to bring to PS5. And obviously, when you're making a new console, a lot of people love having the racing games because they really do a great job at showing off the graphic fidelity of the console. That's why we see a lot of racing games in the beginning of a generation, because they do a nice job at showing off the power of the console. But we'll be seeing that, of course, at PS5. And so let me know, are you a GT fan? Do you like this news? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And alright guys, we have some quotes to read here, pretty long one here, but we have more talks about another Sony movie involving a PlayStation IP. Of course, we got the confirmation that Uncharted is happening next Christmas time, I think, next December, starring Tom Holland, Nathan Drake, Uncharted movie. We'll see how it goes, but we have another one here that's been discussed. This is not at all confirmation, this is just discussions being had, but we had a certain person here that was talking about his love for God of War and stuff like that. His name is Steven DeKnight, and he is a Hollywood filmmaker and everything, and he had some things to say about God of War. So he said, quote, "Someone had asked me about video games. I've always been a fan of God of War. I think the latest game was just so beautiful and phenomenal. I would love to tackle a God of War movie, or I would love to see somebody put that up on the big screen. I had some early conversations with the good people at Sony and PlayStation about it, and my biggest thing is, look, you gotta approach it like a book." And then honestly, he says some pretty good things here. So like, he says that when you're essentially trying to recapture a game's experience on the big screen, it's impossible. So you have to kind of get the game's core elements and then work them into the context of a movie, which honestly to me sounds like the exact way that I think every video game movie should go. If you're going to make a video game into a movie adaptation, I think that is the 100% way to go. You cannot just try to look at a game and try to like do some crazy cutscene thing and make it into a movie. It's not gonna work. Like, you're not gonna get that to work. And so I think this is actually the perfect way that he's talking about it. I think it's a perfect way for any game to be translated into a movie. I think it's great. But he also has one more thing to say here. Involving the kind of rating of this hypothetical God of War movie if he were to make it. He says, quote, "It's funny because when I sat down with Sony's PlayStation people, one of the first things we both said is rated R, because I always use the original Conan the Barbarian as my touchstone, that it needs to be rated R. I don't think there's a way to tell that story and make it PG, nor should it be." And so 100%, can you imagine a world where they actually make a God of War movie and we get some trailers, it's looking pretty cool, whatever, and then the rating comes out and it's PG-13? or it's PG. Like, bruh, like, no. God of War has to be rated R, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really glad that if this were to be made, at least we have someone that is talking pretty good about having having a game become a movie, and they're pretty much set in stone that the movie has to be rated R. So pretty good start if it were to come out. I'm not saying I want it, but it's pretty good start. And lastly here, guys, honestly, one of my favorite shows of recent memory, honestly, is Stranger Things. You guys know Stranger Things 3 just released yesterday for 4th of July, and there was some interesting things happening in Fortnite. So, of course, in Stranger Things 3, there is the inception of the Cross Star. I just am on, like, episode 2. I forgot what the mall is called, but it's that new mall that kind of arrived in the town, and it's sucking up a lot of these small mom-and-pop shops that were around there that people would shop at, but now they're just going to the mall because it's more convenient, stuff like that. So it's hurting small businesses in the show, but it looks like in Fortnite they have, of course, the Mega Mall on the map, and when you go into the Mega Mall, at least now, there are some strange things happening. Strange things happening involving some portals. And so, of course, these portals look exactly like the ones in the previous Stranger Things seasons, and when you go into them, you go into the Upside Down, which is super cool. I think this is such a great way to market the TV show, it's so, like, Fortnite does it the best. Like, there is no other game that is doing cross promotion with another big IP like Fortnite. They do it countless times with Avengers. They have done it here with Fortnite. They do it with John Wick. They are the pinnacle of that stuff in game, which I love it. And so it is really cool to see. You are, you know, right now you guys are seeing clips of you on screen, and is a really cool thing. So if you guys are pretty much bored and, you know, you're watching Stranger Things, hop into Fortnite while this is here, and definitely check out the portals, because it looks really cool. It looks really, really cool. And ladies and gentlemen, that has been this week's Save Slot. If you all enjoyed, make sure to like all the videos, as well as stay subscribed to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Down below, you can find our different links. You can find our Discord, our Twitter, and also our Anchor link to be able to listen to all of our long-form content on the channel in podcast format. So that can be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Podcasts, whatever you're looking for. You can catch our weekly Cross Circle podcast, as well as Road to Part 2 live on those feeds for audio-only listeners. And make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it, all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.